Received the coveted starred review from Publishers Weekly for several of her historical romance novels and contemporary romance novels. In addition, Kathryn has been named an honor roll author by the Romance Writers of America and has appeared on The Today Show. Known for her very funny and witty dialogue, her novels always leave the reader with hope, a smile, and a happy ending. She is being inducted as a graduate of distinction for her contributions to the arts and personal achievements. Please join me in honoring Kathryn Charles Seidick from the class of 1961.
Hi. Thank you. I want to send out a special thanks to my husband Mike and my family for going behind my back and nominating me. And I could only wish they were up here instead of me. My instructions for tonight were to speak about 8 to 10 minutes, hopefully inspiring the new National Honor Society inductees present tonight with sage advice about the value of education, developing their talents, contributing to society, you know, all that good stuff. I quickly realized two things. I don't have 10 minutes in me on any subject. And two, you guys wouldn't be here tonight if you didn't already know most of that anyway. You've set your goals, you have the determination to go out there and grab them. I'd just be preaching to the choir. So what did that leave me with? I mean, other than thank you, which I already said, and then tap dancing off stage right. Unfortunately for you all, I finally did come up with a few things on my own and with help from my family. We'll begin with my son Eddie, and now a teacher at Northampton High School and coach of the varsity girls basketball program at Kasey High School. I don't believe in putting labels on children, but in Eddie's case, I knew he was born to be a teacher and coach by the time he was 10. While Eddie and I both are firm advocates of higher education, what he pointed out to me was that at Whitehall High School, it turned out that was all I needed to set me on my career path. So that makes me a pretty good example of the power of the arts in high school. And yes, that would be the one subject I could talk far longer than 10 minutes on. Cutting costs by cutting art programs has never been a good idea. In short, however, I'll say this. If you want to destroy the humanity of mankind, begin by ignoring the arts. Now, coming back off my soapbox, I'm self-employed. My brother Don, also a Whitehall graduate, sports editor of the Owl, involved in the class play and much more while in school, reminded me that success, as in many things, can come down to two words: show up. But for self-employed like me, that translates to putting the seat of the pants in the seat of the chair, which isn't all that easy when you're your own boss. If your plans for the future include perhaps going out on your own, first make certain you have what it takes to be a tough boss, because your single employee can think up 1,000 reasons for taking the day off. Today would mark the 77th wedding anniversary of my parents, Kay and Ed Charles. My sister, Bonnie Charles Broches, reminded me of that. Bonnie is yet another Whitehall grad that used what she learned in this building and polished in college, and is also involved in the arts as talent director and so much more of the Great Allentown Fair. She reminded me that our parents probably have front row seats somewhere up there. Our mother beaming with pride, and our dad reminding me to keep it short. Which brings me to parents. All of you sitting out there tonight, so rightfully proud. I know the biggest gift you can give your children, and that's the confidence in them to say, go, do. Be who you want to be and what you want to do. And if it makes you happy, then it makes us happy. We support your decisions. Don and Bonnie and I had that gift from our parents, and it's invaluable. Now, for those in the audience who may remember the names, and even if you don't, I'm going to thank some of the greatest influences on my career path, my high school teachers. John Durishan, who gave me my first public praise for something I'd written for his 9th grade class. I liked the praise, and I wanted to hear it again. Lots of agains. The one and only Marjorie Lazarus, Whitehall's legendary journalism advisor, she read something I wrote on a whim. I told you I wanted to hear more agains, and immediately made me third-page editor of the award-winning Owl while I was only a sophomore. Both Don before me and Bonnie after me worked with Miss Lazarus to hone our journalism skills, and we are the products of her positive influence on our lives. I know we weren't the only ones. William Piff and William Helfrich both made history come alive for me through their own enthusiasm, exposing me to the human side of history and thus planted more seeds that would eventually lead to publication. Ronald McAdam. This is a man who could be 20 minutes late walking into the classroom, and he'd walk into a quiet, well-behaved classroom, because we'd rather be boiled and pitched than be caught, speaking out of turn. Me, I happily hid behind a varsity linebacker whose last name providentially placed him in the row ahead of me. Mr. McAdam handed me my well-deserved C's during the first semester devoted to grammar. But then the second semester came, concentrating on English literature, Macbeth in particular. Mr. McAdam asked a rather everybody's laughing, huh? When Bernard Woods comes to whatever. Mr. McAdam asked a rather complicated question about character motivation. I hesitantly raised my hand and answered. He ran up the row between the desks until he was leaning over me, rubbed his head as he did when he got agitated and demanded, "Where have you been all year?" I got A's in literature. Anyway, I was hooked, no question. I may not have known it yet, but that one question, "Where have you been all year?" combined with my exposure to the other great dedicated teachers probably sealed my fate. That and teacher Carl Case, who pretty well convinced me I didn't have a future in advanced mathematics. I didn't. An interview asked me years ago, who has had the greatest influence on your writing? Who inspires you? The answer I gave then still applies. The world has its greatest influence on and most inspires my writing. All of it, from its beginnings to now, every facet of life, of just plain living, influences my writing. The beauty of writing novels is that nobody says you can't, that you don't have the training, the education, credentials of any kind. You don't have to pass a test to write a book. You don't have to prove anything to anyone except yourself. If you have to please yourself, and when you do, you please others. It's you and that blank page and the dreams that live in your head. So everything influences me, and everything inspires me. From a great work of art to a commercial for fast food hamburgers, I look around and there it all is. So that's my advice for the future. That blank page facing all of you and all the dreams that live in your head. Listen to your own instincts. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. And along the way, keep looking around, because there it all is, out there, waiting for you. Thank you.